All right, family. How you doing? This is Jay Hadwin, brand ambassador of My Brother Spot. We have our senior web developer, Willie. How you doing, Willie?
Hi, how you doing, Jay?
All right, all right. I'm doing
Thanks for
fine.
inviting me here again. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, brother. You know what I'm saying? You and your texts, man, is what keep us rolling, man. I really appreciate you, for real. So, you know, I have a couple questions for the audience. We don't have any people on here yet, but eventually they will be. Um, you know, and we're going to be talking about AI, Willie. And I know you're very familiar with AI, right?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yes, and and AI and small business, that's what we're going to be talking about. Basically the game changer. You didn't see coming. I mean, that's what the title is of this. So, what does AI mean for businesses today? You know, like, what does it mean?
So, you know what? Past couple of years, I'll say the year where things really started to change was 2022. People started talking about ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Before that, people talked about AI, but they didn't really believed that we were that close to what we are experiencing today. Like literally, January 2022 is when ChatGPT just people start talking about it. It started to be available to the public, and I recognized it right away what it meant for my business. So I'm a web developer. I do business. I give business advice as well, business advisor as well. So when ChatGPT came out for me, it was like um, really life changing because it meant that I can be so much more productive, right? And I
Mhm.
got on the bandwagon right away. I still remember back in 2023. So it was actually in September of 2023. September is known as Techtember because there's a
Mhm.
bunch of conferences, tech conferences all over the world. Usually, you are getting close to the end of the year, so people are talking about what they've accomplished this year and that kind of stuff. So in 2023, I attended a conference where we talked about Google Gemini. So at that time, the way that they introduced it, they were talking about how they will integrate AI into the search engine. Okay, and they didn't have a specific time when it was going to happen, but essentially they were saying around January 2024 you should start seeing Google Gemini come in. In the meantime, from 2020 to 2023, ChatGPT was exploding. It was
Mhm.
exploding, and it was basically free at that time for just about everything. They came up with the subscription a little bit after, but everybody was just getting on it, and they're typing. They're like, "Whoa, I can't believe it does what it does," and it wasn't even as good as now because they
Mhm.
didn't have as much data, right? So the questions were not as accurate and stuff like that. So I felt like when they talked about Google and Gemini in 2023, that uh, Google was trying to hurry up
Right.
because ChatGPT quickly went from just being an AI tool that anybody can use to a search engine. People were started typing, "Hey, I'm looking for a business in California, in San Francisco, that does this," right? And then it would like spit the answer. So it was basically like a search engine. And
Mhm.
actually, there was a search engine called Search GPT that became very popular. And I
And
think
so,
that,
what does it mean for businesses today?
well, that's where I'm going
Mhm.
because Google Gemini, basically they hurried up and came up with something in January 2024, but it was far from where it was and where it's at today. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
And in the meantime, it's not only Google Gemini has been working on these, Apple has been working on these, Microsoft jumped on the bandwagon. So it's like a race. Okay. But in the meantime, it gave businesses, you know, an advantage that they never had before. Okay. And
Mhm.
just simply like, I preach blogs. I tell people if you have a website, you want to write blogs, you want to do these things. And with AI, you are not able to write a blog in literally 20 minutes. You tell AI, listen, this is what I want to talk about. And that's a whereas in the past, you had to sit down for hours trying to come up with an idea. Then you actually had to write the content, find the pictures, all that stuff, right? So it was
Right.
a big job, and bloggers were paid 150, $200 to write a blog, right? So overnight, a business was able to ramp up their content, not
Mhm.
only with blogs, with social media content, that kind of stuff. So the tools that AI created give business right now a huge advantage. The other advantage is because guess what? There are still a lot of businesses that are not using or trying to learn AI.
Right.
So you as a business, are already learning how to use AI, how to use the systems, and how to get familiar with it. You're giving yourself a huge advantage. Okay.
And how is my brother's spot infusing AI on their customized websites, all that for our future clients and our clients that we have now?
Well, one thing that we need to know is AI is getting is basically working from data that it's fed, right?
Hmm.
And at my brother's spot, for black-owned businesses, this is a huge advantage because um, the content that we write on my brother's spot, there's actually for the tech people that know a little bit about this. When you build a website, there's something called a sitemap. Sitemap lets the search engine know, it's a sitemap and robot txt. So those are the two places where the search engine robots go and get information to understand the structure of your website, what your website is about, that kind of stuff, right? Okay. And this is where a lot of people they miss the boat because a lot of people don't even have their sitemap updated into the Google bots engines and stuff like that, right? Okay. Now that AI is here, there is actually an additional file, so that the AI bots can understand what your website is about, right? So that
Hmm.
when people do searches on AI, they can actually find out, AI will use the data on your website to describe what it is that you're doing to them. So if somebody says, I'm looking for a plumber in Conyers, Georgia, okay,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
AI is going through the data, and all the content that's on your website, and you'll say, oh, look, this guy's a plumber in Georgia, and we'll say, hey, uh, there's this plumber, and then your plumbing business, right?
Hmm.
So this gives a huge advantage because on top of the fact that you are ranking on search engines, MBS websites are optimized to also be, have their data being picked up by AI bots. So
Hmm.
that's huge. Okay,
So
that's
it's basically good for visibility. That's what you're saying.
It's great for visibility. And at the same time, it reduces your costs because normally, if you write a blog,
Mm,
you have to
mm,
broadcast your blog, right? You have to go and you have to put it on social media, and you have to do a lot of stuff. This reduces your cost your cost in money and time because
mm,
um, essentially by your blog just being on your website, okay, and again, specifically to what we do, we actually optimize it for AI, where most websites don't do that yet, right? Uh,
mm, mm.
but when the information is there, then basically the AI bots will take that information and basically um, broadcast it for you. You know what I mean? Which is huge. Now, the other thing is marketing. Okay,
Mm,
um, marketing from social media to blogging, like we just talked about. Um, and they are actually also marketing tools for people who use Google Ads. There's a lot of AI infused in that as well now. It's actually pretty cool because you can pretty much explain what it is that you're trying to do. It'll create the content, the pictures, the content that people will see that will entice them to click on your listing, whereas you had to do that completely manually before, right?
mm,
Um, so for a business, um, it's very important to get on the boat right now. you know, try to understand this. At My brother spot, we specifically help black-owned businesses, to improve their visibility by not only doing a lot for them, but also teaching them on how to do that for themselves. Right?
hmm hmm
Hmm.
Yes, that's what I've been telling a lot of our potential clients, that we're 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 not the normal uh, web developers. Well, tech. We're not the normal tech that presents themselves online as just getting you a website, just giving you a website. It's all inclusive, from consulting. I know we'll be consulting our clients in how to get more visibility on blogs. Um, there's a competitive price, customized websites, and also subscription websites if they have the money. And I think subscription websites are the future, Willie. And I'm going to tell you why, is because, okay, we're wasting our time on like Facebook, YouTube, IG. They don't pay well. They're not going to pay well unless you have a person that you are getting sponsored by. So if my brother spot is expertise is giving visibility, then if you have a subscription platform, then you're getting over in a couple years or a year 500 to 1,000 people that's paying you $15 a month, or you have services that you become the Facebook, you become the IG. And this is what a lot of our people don't understand. We could build that. They don't.
So one thing that is really important, because the question really is, what does AI mean for businesses today? But what we're doing for black-owned business is very unique, because right now is the easiest time ever in the history of the internet to have your own brand. You don't need to sit under Facebook and try to build it, because guess what? First of all, there's a bunch of hackers on Facebook. You build your brand, they can just come through and take it. Okay, that's first thing first. It has happened to a bunch of people, but that's just a small thing, about that, right? So having your own brand, having your own website, the things that Facebook can do for you, and other platforms can do for you, you can now do it for yourself, because AI, really allows you to, make your brand bigger. So what we do, we're your tech support, essentially, which is really good, because there's so much going on right now. It's good to have somebody that knows what's going on and things like that. Um, but we're basically your backup team. Okay. But right now, starting your own brand, if you want to start a subscription website or start an e-commerce platform, right now is the best time ever. So
Because you'll be unique. Not every it's not You're not on a saturated block yet.
well,
You know.
also in the future, because nobody really talk about the future of AI, right? So in the future, um, you want to have as much control as possible on your brand. Okay, so if you don't have a website, if you have Instagram, or if you have, Facebook, those type of platforms, um, you're not going to have as much control, and we don't know what they're going to be doing in the future with your data, or what they're going to decide to do. There were some people about 20 years ago that basically bet everything on MySpace. Then what happened in MySpace? MySpace basically disappeared overnight, and
That's crazy. You're right.
right, you know what I mean? So you definitely want to own your brand, and then over time, people remember your brand, they recognize your brand, and they know where to go back to it. Whereas, you have your Instagram get hacked, all of a sudden, nobody has anywhere to go back to, right?
Right.
To find you. Also, your Instagram is not going to be picked up on by AI that much. The content that you have on a website, a properly built website, has a much higher chance of ranking on AI than Instagram. When did you ever do a, a, a Google search and the number one result was an Instagram profile? Never. You see what I'm saying? It's always a
Mm,
website, right?
mm,
So whatever you have, and then you also make more money because all of these platforms, in order to stay in business, they have to charge you here, charge you there. When you have your brand, you can collect the money directly and make 100% of your income without having to share it with anybody. And not
right.
to spit on, platforms like Patreon and these type of platforms, but you can do it yourself, at a fraction of the cost because of the technology that is available now.
That's true. I mean, I love it because I've heard this today, and we talked about it today, Willie, about AI is going to create the most millionaires in like ever. And how do you feel about that? Is that a true statement?
It is a true statement because, as I was saying in the beginning, people wear a lot of hats, right? Now, I would tell you, I use multiple systems, and one of the system that I use for payment is Stripe. Stripe is one of the largest, internet bank in the world. Okay, and they also have improved what they offer thanks to AI. And they have accounting services that's done by AI. That pay your taxes, that do all that stuff automatically, right? You don't have to do
Yeah.
anything,
That's
right?
taking away the tax people.
Right.
Yeah.
You can wear the
Yeah.
the accounting hat. You can wear the graphic designer hat. You can wear the blogger hat. So now you can do a lot of these things, as an independent, business person, right? Whereas before, you really got to go around the block and hire here, hire there, just to get stuff done, right? Okay.
Right.
And what we do is, we basically hold your hand as you go through that, right? Because you may not have all the knowledge about this. Like myself, I manage, over 120 websites for
Mhm.
different businesses. So
Right.
that experience, we pass it along to businesses that we help on my brother's spot and let them know, hey, listen, this is what's happening. This is where you can go. This is where you can go. And that create a path for you for success, right?
Right. So, okay. So I understand what you're saying about that. That's cool. And it really makes me excited because for the first time in my life, I feel that I could have a lot more opportunities than just working as a concrete truck driver and all that. Um, I could have a brand, just like you have a brand, just like my brother's spot is a brand. It's real exciting. And why should entrepreneurs adopt AI now instead of later, though? That's what a lot of people are talking about on YouTube and all that.
Well, people who know AI right now, they have a huge advantage, okay? Because just like everything, as things go, things get more complex, right? You know, a phone in 96, you just, open up the phone, put the numbers, and it calls, right?
Mhm.
Whereas now, making a phone call on the phone, it might be easy for most people, but, some people who got on the bandwagon later, it's a lot harder for them to use a phone, you
Yeah.
know. Um, my mom calls me.
You're talking about like older people.
Right. My mom calls me. She got the mute button on, and she's like, "Can you hear me?" I mean, it's
Right.
like simple stuff, right? But you really want to run your business like that in like 2, 3 years
You're talking about the baby boomers.
right, when things are so much more complex, so you want to get in right now. Believe it or not,
Mhm.
in 3 years that I've been working with AI,
Mhm.
things have changed so much. Actually, 2025 is the biggest change I've ever seen in all the years I've been in the web space for 30 years.
Mhm.
And 2025, there has been so many changes. I mean, if you remember, every time we have a conversation, I'm like, hey, this might happen. And then next thing you know, it's happening
It
2 weeks
changed. I
later.
remember you would tell me, and it drive me nuts. I'll be like,
Yeah.
damn.
It happens 2 weeks later, and it moves really quick because sometimes people tell you, hey, um, you know, uh, this thing is going to come out maybe next year, and what AI is doing is it's accelerating, you know, uh, the it's accelerating the pace of businesses, right? It's almost like going from college basketball to NBA basketball, right?
Right. It's a difference. And let me ask you this, Willie. How would it help? Will it kind of, okay, if our people take advantage of this situation with AI, will it, bring us up and leverage us even more than ever since
Well,
Black Wall Street?
well, we have all types of businesses, and the biggest problem with black-owned business is funding, right?
Right. Mhm.
And funding, and funding, you have to convince an investor that, hey, my business is the way it is, and I want to grow it to that. And investors now, sometimes we always think like big business and crowdfunding. You don't have to do all that stuff. Sometimes, investors is your bank.
Mhm.
It's your bank. It could be a partner that can really help your business. It could be one person, right?
Mhm.
Um, or it
Or
could
a
be a
group
couple
of
of people.
people like East Indians. They put all their money together.
Right. And the thing is,
That's called self-funding, right? Self-funding.
that's right. So the thing is, AI can improve your business, especially in the finances, because, like I say, you can save a lot of money by not having to hire everybody, to do everything, right? So a lot of stuff
Right.
now you can do yourself. Okay. Um, you can also, you can present your business much better, right? Because, like I was saying earlier, like blogs and um, social media posting and all that stuff, everything looks like so much more professional. Also, your business is, you can strengthen your business operation. AI can help you streamline a lot of things, save you a lot of money, like I was talking about accounting before. Now, what that means for an investor, if you get really good at understanding how you can use this technology, it means more profit. So investors like profit, right?
Right.
It also means, for example, your marketing cost is low, so that's also increasing profit, but also increasing the number of customers you can have or you can manage. You have AI customer service now that answer the phone for you. So you
Yeah,
can
that's
really,
laying off a lot of people. So that's the whole thing. If we take advantage of this AI, even though technology is undefeated.
well, that's
So
the thing. We talk about people getting laid off and stuff like that, but what we didn't really need to talk about is, okay, they're getting laid off, but that's an opportunity for these people to use that technology to
exactly.
to
Thank
open
you.
their business. You know what I'm saying? So
Appreciate it.
guess what? They don't need customer service agents anymore, right? They don't need, like today. Actually, remember I told you Techtember. I was at a conference live, and they were talking about humanoid robots
Uh,
for restaurants. So
uh,
humanoid robots that will be cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's the year? How many years from now? I think you said 3 to
they
5.
already exist right now. So by the time they implement it, sell it, or whatever, 20, 25,000 is how much one of them is, right? So how long will it take for a restaurant owner to pay that? Because the restaurant owners are already paying 30, $40,000 for cooks. So,
And
if
that's
you have an
monthly, right?
extra a year, right? About 30, 40,000 a year for a cook, right?
Oh, at a regular.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if I can buy a humanoid robot and put in my kitchen for $25,000 one time, maybe I pay like $1,000 monthly. I mean, you know, $1,000, even if I pay $1,000 monthly, right? But
Mhm.
this robot will never be sick unless the robots break down or whatever. But
Right.
I'm pretty sure,
And never call off neither.
well, right. So it will always be there. You can
You
always
can't
count
get
on it.
pregnant.
Right, you're right. It's a lot of stuff like that that's going on, right?
Mhm.
So it's an opportunity for people to maybe start their restaurant, because maybe you could never start a restaurant before because that technology didn't exist. You're like, okay, how am I going to find, a server and this and this and that? Now you have technology that will allow you to run a restaurant, You know, I actually right now the big thing that started happening since the pandemic is
Mhm.
ghost kitchens, and ghost kitchens
Right,
a lot of money. You know,
right.
but before, like 5 years ago, there was no such thing as a ghost kitchen.
Yeah. I
You,
seen that before I left Los Angeles, man. And it was a spot I used to go to, the Guru. I
right.
think I think it's a ghost kitchen now.
So you have people, they can have six, seven restaurants actually, instead of just one restaurant. They can
Right.
have a taco restaurant, a burger restaurant, a pizza restaurant, and they have actually kitchens. I don't know about, Atlanta specifically, but here in Toronto,
Mhm.
they have different ghost kitchens around the city that, you as a simple person, you can rent a kitchen, so you can
Oh,
go,
they doing that. That's how it is in LA. It's in downtown LA. They
right.
rent a kitchen, then they have Uber Eats and other things
So
come through and pick it
So
up.
imagine this. Imagine you're working for a high end restaurant, okay, and you're
Mhm,
making $50,000 a year. And now
mhm,
because of AI, you're gonna lose your job, right?
mhm.
That gives you an opportunity actually to start a restaurant yourself. So people look at it from the a wrong perspective, as in I'm gonna lose my job and I won't
But
have
some
anything to do.
people, not even some people, a lot of people, Willie, like working for people. They don't want to be
Yeah,
just
people like working, but guess what? It's 2025 and
that's
things are
what I'm
moving
saying.
quick, right?
Shit.
So, if you like working, just, you're going to like working for yourself. Now, I would tell you one thing. If you go back 150 years ago, there was
Mhm.
no such thing as a corporation and you get
True.
hired and you get benefit. There was so actually all the businesses were family businesses.
Right.
And you look at lawyers and doctors, that was going from generation to generation. So there was no law school. You would learn that from your father, who's a lawyer.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? A
Right.
doctor, you will learn that from your father, who's a doctor. If you're
Herbalists, all it
right,
goes.
right. So it
Like,
was, it was, it was, it was really family businesses for generations. So that went
mm,
on for a long time, for a
mm,
very long time. You know what I
mm,
mean? And then, maybe at that time, as they were going into the corporate system, the industrial age and stuff like that, it was kind of like what's going on right now. Before the
mm.
industrial age, people were working farms and that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden they're in the city, they work in the line. So you have to be able to adapt, because the way that we have jobs today, that we're leaving the last moment of the standard corporate job, and you go to an office every day sitting in traffic. That life is about to end. I mean, we're in the
And
last moment.
they're not even warning us, but I mean we're adults. Should they warn us? That's what's
Yeah, because pretty much, if AI can do it, why would you pay somebody to do it?
I
Right?
know. Everyone right.
Right. If
Right.
AI can do it, why? Okay, so even in the case of this restaurant idea that I was talking about, if you have an employee and let's say he's the best employee ever, okay,
Mm,
and he's working in your kitchen for $40,000 a year, okay, and you
mhm.
have a robot that can do the same work for one time 25,000 and $1,000 a month, okay, even if you love that employee, you are saving at least 60-70%
Yep.
on your cost. Are you going to keep that employee? It's just perfect
I know. Human
sense,
nature.
right? Human nature, yeah,
You're not going to keep the employee. And on top of that,
right.
AI. If you utilize it right, and you have a team like my brother's spot, a tech team like my brother's spot, you'll always be visual. First on the first page on a lot of the searches on Google, Bing, ChatGPT, and that's where people are really going to trust and look at your website or your subscription platform. And this is worldwide. So, Willie, can you give an example if it's worldwide and 1% of people are clicking on there and say, hey, I'm going to get what, uh, let's call it Just Cause clothing? That's a lot of fucking people. How many people in the world?
I think we're at like 8 or 9 billion right now, right?
Billion. So
Yeah,
1% of that. Come on, Will.
yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because that's another thing that AI allows you to do. So, many years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I was focus on local SEO marketing, that kind of stuff. So I'll go to a plumber and I'll tell the plumber, you could be the top guy in your area. Okay, let me help you with that, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So about 6, 7 years ago, okay, I started developing systems that allow you to expand nationwide, right? So the same
Mhm.
plumber, instead of focusing locally, I would tell him, listen, instead of being the top plumber in Gwinnett County, right, you could be
Mhm.
the top plumber not only in the whole Atlanta metro area, but you could be the top plumber in all of Georgia or the whole South or the whole East Coast or the whole country,
Mhm.
because the technology, you know, uh, and the way things are moving, it was possible for you to start a marketplace. Right now is the year of marketplace. Everything is being done through marketplaces. I really think the next generation employees are basically will be subcontractors of marketplaces. That's pretty
Really?
much where it's going to
Mhm.
happen, right?
Mhm.
So there's not going to be a plumber that's independent. It's going to be a plumber that works for plumbers.com, which basically service everybody in the United States, right? But right
Mhm.
now, it's still possible for a plumber to start their own marketplace. Right now, we actually build it for people. I'm talking to a lady right now. She owns a couple of villas in
Mhm.
Trinidad, and I'm telling her, hey, listen, I mean, you're gonna pay me this amount of money for me to, you know, grow your visibility for tourists that's coming in. How about this, right?
Mhm.
People come to your villas, but the people that are not coming to your villas, they're going to go to your competition. And the competition is all the way around because she's close to the beach. She's like, she's close to all the attractions. And in those areas have a lot of other villas,
Right.
villas, resorts, whatever you call it, all the way around her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling her, listen,
Mhm.
instead of having a website just for your property, how about you have a marketplace for your area? So when
Right.
people go to your area, okay,
You
they can
dominate.
they can see your property and they
Mhm.
can see other people property. This is the new way of doing business. AI
Mhm.
allow you to do that because I would tell you one thing. This lady, she's a new client of mine. So my process when I get started with somebody, I get, you go through a questionnaire that I set up so I can better understand what are your objectives and what are the things that you're trying to do. I think you
Mhm.
went through that, right? You filled
Right.
out the questionnaire. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So basically from that questionnaire, the reason why I have that is because in the past, I would ask people questions about their business. And you'll be surprised. A lot of people get into business, they don't really know their business, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So so asking them a question is kind of like um, they don't know. So you tell them, okay, what's compared to your competition, what makes you different? Like a lot of people can't answer that. A lot of people can't answer that.
Yeah.
So what I do is I take the data from that questionnaire and I go and I do some research about what you're trying to do, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So you have this villa, you're trying to have this. So I go, I look at the area where she has her villas. That's how I find out, hey, she has other villas around there. Oh, look, there's a beach here. This is a popular beach. This is the why people come to this area. This is so I gather all this information, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm able to gather that very quick because of AI. Now, peep this: the area where she's in, she had a picture of the Bay Area of her property, but she's like her property is like up in the mountain, right? So
Mhm.
so she has a really great view, but
Wow.
she used the worst cell phone camera to take a picture of that view. So guess what? I took that picture, I
Mhm.
gave it to AI, and I say, hey, listen, because the day that she took that picture, the sky was gray, you know, the resolution was bad. I told
Mhm.
AI, okay, take this picture, make it, you know, make it sunny, make it sunny, make it more appealing. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
you can't tell that this is a picture that was enhanced by AI. And now I got the
Mhm.
picture on the website, and when people go on the website, they're like, "Oh wow, this is a nice picture." I mean, it's really nice. But the picture, you know, she didn't even recognize the picture because And I've never been there. Imagine that. I've never been there. Normally,
Great.
what I used to do with clients, I would tell them, okay, listen, this picture you gave me are not that good. You need to hire a photographer. He go over there, he take good pictures so he can send it to me. Nowadays, I don't even need pictures. I can just basically uh AI knows the area. Our AI already knows the area.
Do you
So I
command the AI? How do you
Yeah.
how do you
So
do it?
for example, if you ask AI to make a picture of a street scene in Atlanta, it can create that picture.
And
Uh,
this is the paid version, right?
of course, you have to pay for all these tools. There's so
Right.
many tools. I spend a lot of money on tools. That's actually
Also,
a bad
Willie, check
addiction.
this out. It's also a young lady that I went to school with from first grade to eighth grade, Yolanda Wright. Oh my goodness, man. She has a Airbnb in Senegal.
Mhm.
And I'm still steady talking to her like, look, we could give you some visibility that you would not believe. And so instead of her going to Airbnb, tell her how, because this is going to be recorded. Tell her how you would save just, she could save just getting a website from us.
Yeah. Well, I guess Yolanda is going to see this. He put you on the spot.
I have to. Hey, that's my,
but
she like
but
a sister to
basically,
me, man.
basically, what I was saying is that the visibility, it's a lot easier now with AI to grow the visibility, and it's a lot easier to build those marketplaces that we're talking about, right? So that you have a higher chance of making money. Okay, you can no longer afford to think the old way in 2025. Definitely not 2026, 2027. Okay, this information I'm giving you guys, it moves so fast that this might be even outdated. It's going to be bigger than that, right? So where I was going earlier is that, you know, I went from local to city to regional, and now I'm building international businesses because of all the tech that's available out there, right? You listen. I'm building a website in Brazil. I don't speak a word of Portuguese, okay?
That's
Because
getting crazy.
AI will allow me to do business in Portuguese. You see what I'm
Damn.
saying? Yeah. So, and this is what we do when it comes to visibility. A lot of the technology, I mean, obviously we read about it, stuff like that, but using it is the key, right? And using it and be on the right path to use it, because just like so many things, when there's something new, so many people get scammed because they don't know. They try, they get excited. Oh, you know
And
what?
how much does Airbnb take from each when once they book? How much do they
Well, that's
take?
the thing. First of all, Airbnb is not doing much because they've already made their money. They don't have to
Right,
innovate anything else. They take,
right.
18 to 20% off the
Wow.
top for nothing. Where that money, if you actually calculate that, just think about it, right? If you have a property and you're renting your property for $200 a night, okay, so 20% of that is $40. Okay, so if your property is rented 20 days in a month, okay, 20 days are 400, that's $800 a month. If you take $800 and invest into yourself, you will make double that money. You see what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
And then in the
Yes.
future, you don't have to take a percentage and give it to somebody else. That's wealth that stay, in your business, in your
And
family.
then you're competing against other Airbnb people on their platform. You may not even get seen.
And this is what I'm saying. The strategy here that I'm using with a lot of my clients is that, don't compete with people, because right now marketplace is the big thing. So instead
Mhm.
of competing with people, just tell them, hey, listen, let's make this money together. But they're gonna make this money together on your website
Right.
where you making money on all the transaction.
Basically,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can say that openly because let me tell you something. In 3 years, it's gonna be over. You won't be able to do that anymore. I say 3 years. I'm being very generous because it's happening right now. I was on Wayfair.com, okay,
Mhm.
and I was on Wayfair. I was looking to order something, and on Wayfair, they have when you buy a piece of furniture, they have an option where they can have someone to assemble the piece of furniture, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I used to build businesses. I worked with a lot of furniture assemblers and stuff like that. And furniture assemblers, they charge anywhere between $40 to $60 an hour, right?
Mhm.
And some of these furnitures can take 3 to 5 hours. Just basic furniture that it looks basic, but it could take 3 to 5 hours to assemble, right? So if
Mhm.
somebody gets paid, $60 an hour, and they work 5 hours, they really just made $300 to assemble this piece of furniture, right? Now, one of the problem with IKEA and Wayfair and those type of businesses that sell furniture in flat packs and stuff like that is
Mhm.
that a lot of people can't assemble those furniture. They get frustrated. Actually, at IKEA, the number one reason why people return is because they can't put it together. It's halfway done. They just bring it back. They're like, I don't want to have to do anything with that, right? So
Mhm.
IKEA specifically partnered with a company called TaskRabbit, right?
Mhm.
And Wayfair partnered with a company called Handy. Handy and TaskRabbit are marketplaces. So now they are competing against assemblers. But guess
Mhm.
what? When they went to Handy and when they went to TaskRabbit, they say, hey, listen, we need people to assemble this furniture, but we don't want to pay $300.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So they came together, and I saw that, a piece of furniture that would cost $200 or $300 to put together. I saw that you buy the furniture and then you can pay a flat rate to have your item assembled. So the flat rate was $100. And I was thinking, okay, the $100, that's before they're going to take their cut on that. So
Yep.
the dude who's assembling the stuff is probably getting $60, $70,
Mm. Mm.
where
Right.
normally he would get 300. So here's what's going on. They're using the technology to take over. I mean, the dude that sells assembly services for $200 or $300 just went out of business.
Mm.
And now you have to go and work for these guys for $70, right? you know. So I saw that, I was like, that's crazy. I checked out what's handy. IKEA does the same thing. They do flat rate assembly for different stuff. And guess what? When one person start, the competition start the same thing. Everybody in the industry is going to do it. So if you have a furniture assembly business, guess what you need to do? You need to have a marketplace, because that's the only way you're going to make money. You're not going to
That's
make
the only
money.
that's the only way people gonna see you.
That's what I'm saying. Otherwise, you're going to be the guy that's on the platform that's going to go do the work for $70. And as time goes on, you will start competing with humanoid robots that know how to assemble,
And
right?
that's even worse. That's coming.
So
It's
so this is why right now is really the time to get to know these systems and learn how everything works. And this stuff that I'm talking about, this is very recent. I didn't see it before. And again, I do.
and these systems could work with anybody, personal trainers. It could work with
Of course.
I'm talking about what my brother spot, just any type of business.
I mean, every industry has something that will be. Every industry will be disrupted. When it comes to for personal trainers, I came across another business where they're going to have AI personal trainers, where how they have the
Oh my
class and
God.
people come online. It's going to
Wait,
be an
wait, hold
AI.
on. Where did you hear this? AI
Because
personal?
I constantly do research for my clients as I build websites, right?
Okay.
And then you come across all this information, because when I do my research, I'm looking for this, for that. So now think about this, right? You have personal trainers that do or even yoga. They do classes online, right? So you are like on the video, you're doing all the stretches or all the whatever, or if it's the bicycle, they have Peloton. So instead of having an instructor doing that, there's already AI doing that. AI is doing the instructions. So guess what? What's going to happen to all these yoga instructors and stuff like that? Now, those yoga instructors, what's their opportunity? Their opportunity is right now they can have their own AI school or course. Or you
Right.
see what I'm saying? You know,
And
it's
it
still
could be
possible
a
right now.
subscription platform.
That's where they can get a
See,
subscription
because
platform. Yeah.
this the whole thing, Willie, like Facebook, Instagram, they're gonna turn into subscription platforms. They say in about 2, 3 years. It's not
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
they have a free version, but in order to really you're gonna have to spend money on it. So you might as well get your damn, subscription platform in your brand. Bump all
Yeah.
these people, man. They ain't gonna pay us.
So right now is the best time to reinvent yourself.
Right.
If you have a job, or you're good at
That's a good
specific,
thing if they have a job because they can
right?
invest in themselves.
So you can, start your company, add it on My Brother Sports. You can contact us, and we can, put you on the path of, start being able to start these things, right? Every time there are disruptive industries like that, like the internet about 30 years ago, um, the companies that we see today, Google, Apple, all these companies really, thrive during the dot-com boom of the late 90s, right? At that time, it was, you know, you couldn't think about, purchasing stuff on Amazon and stuff like that. And it got so crazy, dude. Like I was trying to buy something for my watch, a screen protector for my watch, right? Okay.
Hmm.
So I go on Amazon on my phone while I'm in the elevator going up to my apartment, right?
Correct.
On my phone, I type, screen protector for my watch, whatever, and it comes up, and it was probably around like 3 in the afternoon, right? Okay,
Right. Hmm.
and they had an option for $7. I can have it delivered before 9 p.m. I mean, that's crazy, right? Before 9 p.m.
What do you think the process was? Seriously, what's their
Well,
system?
there's a lot of robots involved in that because
Right.
the moment that you press enter or buy, the robots are already grabbing the stuff off the shelves and getting it to where it needs to go, so the guy is ready to go and all that stuff, right? Okay,
So eventually the forklifter is going to be out of the job soon.
the forklifters are already out of jobs because Amazon actually use robots to move a lot of that stuff around the
Right, but
warehouse.
I'm talking about the small because I used to work for a company called Travel Pro. They got it, it's about, and I don't tell the homies or nothing like that. I used to work with because people be getting mad and shit.
Yeah. So that's how you can actually increase. You can start your business and you can increase your visibility almost overnight, right?
Right, right,
Uh, where it wasn't possible before.
right.
Wasn't possible before. Now, one thing that I'm noticing is there are so many outdated websites right now. There are people who had their website built professionally about 10 years ago. It has not been updated because up until I want to say 2, 3 years ago, you know,
Mhm.
they were coasting. But things have changed
Mm,
so much in the past 3 years, right? As a matter of fact, what everybody who's listening, what you can do is, all these businesses in your community, just go to AI and, try to find these businesses on there, right? And if they're not mentioned there,
well, tell
they're
them,
going
Willie.
out of
Tell them
business.
how to find them. Just don't put in the name of the business.
No, not at all. So, for example, if there's a cleaners in your community, I don't think many people go to cleaners anymore, but this is just an example. I mean, I think if you're in the cleaners business, maybe you're going out of business soon. But you can go to AI and say, "Hey, listen, I'm looking for cleaners. In my area. I live in this area, this particular intersection. Okay, and can you suggest me a few cleaners, right?" So then it's going to say there's that cleaner, that cleaner, that cleaner. So if it doesn't mention the cleaner that's right around the corner from you, that cleaner is going out of business because this is how people do business nowadays. This is how business get found. This is how business visibility, can improve by using, AI systems or making their website, uh, prime for AI bots to get data from, right? Okay. So same thing if you have your own business, assuming, for example, you have a catering business. We're going to call it, let's say, Jerk Chicken Catering, right? Okay.
Right.
And you are based in Decatur, Georgia, right? So, you can simply ask AI, hey, can you name few catering companies in the Decatur area that sell jerk chicken. If your name is not coming up there, you're going out of business soon. It's simple as that.
Yeah, this isn't a lie. It's It's just the epiphany. And is AI only for tech savvy or large companies, Willie? What do you?
No, I mean, the thing is this, right? Um, that's the whole thing about AI. The whole thing about AI is before, you have people like myself, you almost had 100% control of a business, tech technology department or technology side.
Mhm.
And the main reason why is because where else would they get the information from, right? Where else would they be able to do it? I just gave you some examples of, how you don't need an accountant necessarily anymore, right? Obviously, you have to have the right tool to help you with that, but technology already exists for you to be able to do that on your own. You don't necessarily need a graphic designer. You probably, in some case, you probably don't even need, a web developer, right? I'm being real,
Right.
right? But obviously, you have to know and you have to put yourself in the right path, you know, um, to have the tools that will allow you to do it on your own, right? Okay. So the thing about large companies is people think large companies are ahead. Large company had an advantage before, because before, you know, um, again, just like a web developer had all the technology knowledge, for a business to market themselves online, large
Mhm.
companies also had an advantage. Whereas when Walmart opens in an area, right? Well, it's only one Walmart in that area, and you got to compete with that Walmart. Well, now you can buy online. A business could be in Alaska, right? And it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. They can sell to anybody in the United States, right? So it's actually a huge advantage for a small sized business, right? And you don't have to be tech savvy, because that's what AI is all about. It's of artificial intelligence. It's intelligent on its own, you know. So you don't need to necessarily know. If you can put a couple of prompt and you get really good at putting the right prompt, you can resolve a lot of things for your business,
Okay.
and it's
Also,
quite affordable. It's very
mhm,
affordable.
some just popped in my head. Also, okay, because I have a lot of Facebook friend, IG friends, just friends. Just I'm trying to get them on my brother spot. Like it's a lot of people who coach people. Um, how can my brother spot help them with a website, as in to get more clients where they could really disperse their talents, as in life coaching them, whatever, you know, um, just coaching.
Well, I think that with every businesses, there's a cycle, a sales cycle. So there's different phase of um, for customers to get to your business and buy from your business. So usually, if you want to buy a product, or if you want to get coached, or if you want to get something, it starts somewhere, right? You know, uh, Nobody just get up one day and they just need a coach like that day, right?
Hmm.
Start
Hmm.
somewhere. So maybe somebody has a business that's not doing well, or
Hmm.
their life is in turmoil, and they're going to go to AI now. You can literally press the side of your phone, and they're going to say, hey, listen, I'm going through this right now.
You
What can
think
I?
you think black people are gonna start doing that, or white people? White.
They're already doing it. Everybody's doing it. It's just because it's so simple, right?
Mm.
So when the
But
process,
I still believe that life coaching is efficient, helps a lot of people
no, it
that
does.
don't.
But what I'm talking about is, before somebody gets to a life coach, they have, it's kind of like soul searching, right?
Mm.
Okay, in French, there's an expression that says, if you look, you will find, right?
Mhm.
Probably an expression in English as well. Um, but basically, the search starts somewhere, right? So if I'm craving pizza right now, and let's
Right.
say I'm in a city, like I remember one time I was in Wyoming, right? And there was nothing to do in Wyoming, right?
Yeah.
I was in Cheyenne. There's nothing to do with that, you know. And this is a long time ago, so it didn't have all the, I couldn't go to AI and say, hey, what is there to do here? But they still had blogs and things you can do, which turned out to not be that great because everything there is to do in Wyoming is not in Cheyenne. It's like 100 miles away, right?
Mhm.
Like canyons and stuff like that. Anyway, long story short is when people want to resolve something, they want to do something, they're going to go online and they're going to look for what they're looking for. So maybe they don't know they need a life coach right now. So they're going to say, hey, how can I improve where I am right now? Whether they go to Google or whether they go to Chat GPT or
ChatGPT.
Gemini,
Mhm.
but they're going to start their search, and then it's going to give them ideas. It's going to say, hey, you can read books, right? These are some of the books that help people doing what you're doing. So the books will pop up. Okay.
Okay.
Or you can get the life, you can get a life coach. Then you're going to say, hey, is there a life coach in Atlanta that, you know, that you can recommend, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, some people use AI, some people go to Google and they will just type life coach near me, right? So if you are a life coach, you want a website where people will be able to find you, because that website will have content that will be picked up by search engines, by AI bots. Okay.
Mhm.
Without that, how else would they find you? It's
That's
2025.
true. That's
Everybody's up on
interesting.
their phone.
How
How
about
would
a
they?
person, check this out, Willie. How about a person that doesn't call themselves a life coach? And I really admire this young lady, is a confidence coach. She's not on a crowded block. We could rank her easier, right?
That's even better, because if
Right.
you're not on a crowded block, then that's called a niche, right? And actually,
Yeah.
most people who make a ton of money on the internet are living in niche. Because, for example, if you have a restaurant and you market your restaurant as the best restaurant in Atlanta, okay,
Mhm.
um, it's hard
And
to.
Lavita, I shout you out, confidence coach. Y'all get with her, check her out on Facebook. Lavita. Um, Yo, she seems like she does good work. I've been watching her videos for quite a long time. She's a friend of mine on Facebook. Big up, Lavita. Her name is Lavita D'Amato Jones. Check her out. She's a confidence coach and she's for the ladies.
And you see the that's a good way to shout out, but what's
Mhm.
really good is, if you have an online presence, then this is why branding is actually important,
Yes, like
because
the one.
you can send people to the website, or because her name could be written in several ways. They can probably find it if they look hard enough, but most people, they're not going to look. It's 2025. People have ADHD. They're not going to look that far for you. They have to be easily found, what I'm saying. And when they
I hear
find
you,
you,
Will.
you have to
Thanks,
make it
Johnny.
easy for them to give you some money as well,
You're welcome, Lavita.
you know
Right.
so so yeah, so that's really what it is, but
And also, Willie, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry,
yeah, no
but
problem.
as a matter of fact, we have Dewan on here from Sauce Game. I wrote
Mhm.
an entire book about this very topic.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about, what do you say, black band, brown communities getting left behind. Yeah, brother, and he's a client of my brother's spot, Sauce Game. Check out his rubs on Sauce Game. Tomorrow we're gonna be having a live, and you'll be able to meet the brother behind Sauce Game. He has rubs and he has seasonings. So I need to buy some. I haven't bought some yet, but I'm pretty sure it's good. I'm not LA try guy to the point where I'll be like, I don't. I'm doing so much. Willie's doing so much. We just trying to help our people out, family. And yeah, Dewan, we got you tomorrow, homeboy. We got you. Sorry
and
about
and I,
that,
and
Willie.
I,
Go
and I
ahead.
think that Levita, I think she put a couple of in the comments. I think these are some of the ways to find her. Is that her information there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool,
Mhm.
cool, cool.
Lavita, you need to get a website with us, man. You know what I'm saying? This is a machine. A lot of our people ain't really understanding what we could do for them. I mean, come on, Lavita.
Well,
No,
so
this is yeah,
so
that's
what it
Lavita.
is we make it easy actually to get started and going into that process. Obviously, I will tell you, my brother spot is a huge website. It's in the thousands of pages right now, and we had to make quite a lot of adjustments, um, you know, to the website, and we're going through that while we are trying to, get people onboarded and stuff like that. But we'll make it easy by actually having live sessions like this. But we
Mhm.
also have, training courses that we're doing. I'm giving my time, Jay's giving his time to make sure that people have access to that information, especially black-owned business, black entrepreneurs. They really don't, because there are a lot of people that talk about this, okay, but the people that talk about it, they talk about it specifically to sell you some information. So you
Right.
can't really get the real information unless you spend a lot of money, right? And they're not scared to ask you for 5, 6, 7 thousand, that kind of stuff, because technically what they say is once you give them $10,000, that's when you're gonna know uh, the real information that will make you, the next $1 million and so forth. But really, what it is they're trying to get the next $1 million with your $10,000, right? Okay, we make it very accessible where when you put your business on my brother spot, we are working on making sure that information gets picked up by the AI bots, so people can already find you just by being listed on my brother spot, right? That people can find
Mhm.
you easier. Now when you have a website, you already have a major backlink, that because my brother spot is a large website, and eventually it's going to rank in major cities across the United States, and other parts of the world. So that makes it, like we vouching for you, right? So that gives you backlinks. If you are selling products on my brother spot, then that's additional backlinks that connects to your website, and
Mhm.
stuff like that, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so that's a simple way for businesses to start using AI, because we basically, all of the websites that we have a blog platform.
Mhm.
That blog platform is already optimized, all the content that you put on there to be picked up by Google. We have a course that we're learning, that we're preparing right now, that will show you how you can use that blog platform. This course is going to be for the people that have websites with us, to for that uh, to show you exactly how you can use that blog platform to have your content being picked up by AI bots, right? So everything you
Mhm.
talk about, you know, um, then when people are searching for things related to what you're talking about, you can get quoted, because for people who have been uh, messing around with Gemini or ChatGPT or Copilot, whatever, when they give answers, they actually give sources. Okay, those
Mhm.
sources are backlinks to your website, right? A lot of people haven't even noticed that, but they give an answer and then there goes a source, and you can click on the source and go directly to that person's website. Currently, there are millions of traffic of visitors coming from those links, right?
Right.
If your website or your information is not picked up in those places, then you will not be found. Now, there are
Yeah.
some platforms, like Wix, GoDaddy, other platforms like that, that are not tweaked to be picked up by AI bots,
They
right?
serve a different purpose.
The purpose of those platforms is for you to have an online presence. That's it. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? It's very basic, right? It's as basic as if you buy a bicycle for $200, right?
Mhm.
And you want to go to New York, you can eventually get to New York, but it will take you a long time. It's probably better to buy a car, right?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's the main difference there, right? But we
Right.
make it simple to get started in that process, right? So as I was mentioning, the last 6 months since we got started, we've been very busy at you know uh, building the platform, but we are getting ready to roll out, all of these support systems for businesses to uh, not only be on my brother's spot, but to learn the game, And I'm doing it personally. I'm doing it because, as I was explaining to Jay, the majority of my clients are not black, you know. I mean,
Hmm.
the majority is like well into
The majority of all the tech and everybody.
they're
Oh
not
my
black.
God.
And
Right,
for me, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. I built the Afrobeats platform and stuff like that. I'm
right.
doing this because I felt bad, because whenever I see with a black owned business, they maybe they have some of the understanding, but the money, maybe they don't have it, because we have issue with fundings and stuff like that. So we trying to go the cheap route and that kind of stuff, right?
Hmm.
So me, with the knowledge that I have and the things that I know that I can do for these businesses, so I basically sat down, and ever since I've been working with Jay, I've been basically, we've been brainstorming on how to make this accessible for everybody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hmm.
The time that I spend for that, I don't get paid for that. As a matter of fact, you know, I
None of
put
us do.
this. I'm one of the investors, right? You know, um, so um, so we put our time, effort, and everything to make sure we have access, we as a community have access to that same information, that same thing that other business have access to, um, and the other businesses that I help, that pay me a lot of money to help them, they do good with the information that they get from me, you know what I mean? And the products and things that I set up for them, they do good. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, like this is crazy,
Yeah,
because
we're not taking advantage of it. I know.
in my own community, what I'm saying, don't have access to this, right? So this is what we're doing, but we basically create a system to streamline, and make it simple for a small business to basically integrate AI into their system.
Now check this out, Willie. Okay, it's a small business by the name of Johnny in Motion. He sells RC cars. You know those fast RC cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got some nice ones. He needs a website, bro. Like, he will get flooded. This kids all over the planet gonna like those fast ass RC cars, man.
So I will tell
Because
you something
no
from
one
this.
knows that he has it. Okay, let's say at the most it's 100 people, Johnny Jones, that knows that you have RC cars. We could make it in about a year or so, like thousands of people know about you.
Well, basically, the key for people to know about what you're doing is uh, for people to be able to find you. That's
Right,
the key to all of this. Okay,
right,
we're not talking about a website just because we build websites. We talk about it because that's the prime way to build your brand and for people to find you. Okay, having a website in itself is not enough. If that website cannot be found, if I'm going on Google and I cannot be found, right? If you're in an industry, if you're selling chocolate cakes and you live in Decatur, Georgia, or you sell chocolate cake and you live in Alpharetta, Georgia, you should be able to type chocolate cake in Alpharetta, Georgia, and your business has to show up. You're supposed to be able to go on ChatGPT and say, hey, do you know chocolate cake person in Alpharetta? And your business is supposed to come up, right? If
right.
it doesn't, how will people find you? Okay. Like literally, I was talking to my sister, and she grounded her kids. They didn't have access to iPad for like I think a couple of weeks, and the kids is going crazy. And the night before, they were able to get the iPad again. I mean, it's like they were on crack, like what I'm saying, like
Oh, damn.
they're they're just like, anything my sister tell them to do, they just do it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? They're not,
mhm.
and my sister was telling me, like, I can't believe these kids in the iPad. And I say, well, it's not just the kids, it's the adults as well. We are
Mm.
all addicted to our devices. So even if you have a billboard the size of a house in front of you, people just looking at their phones. So if you're not in the phone, they're not gonna
Good
find you.
point, Willie.
You
Good point.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it is, right? With with what's going on right now, right? You really want your business to be found. So this is what we're doing, showing you basically how you can take your business next level by being found. Just having a website doesn't mean you're going to get found. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I would tell you one thing. There's a business close to my house, and the business went out of business. So they used to be on the main street, right? And in Toronto, they're building just tall buildings everywhere, right?
mm,
So
mm,
this business had to move because where they were, a tall building was getting ready to be built, right?
mm, mm.
So they decided to move a little bit further down the road, down a side street, okay? And from the moment that they went to that side street, their business completely died. Uh,
Mm.
because nobody can see you from the main street. Nobody knows you on the side street, right? So if people, they're walking on the main street. If they don't go down that side street, they forget about your business. They forget you exist, even though you're there. You're like literally, couple hundred yards away, but they don't know you there, right? It's that's the same thing with having a website, but people can't find you. Like you have a website, and there's actually a lot of free tools that you can go and check out to see where you're at. You have, if you go on Google, you have something called Google Analytics, and then you have Google Search Console. 99% of the business owners that I talk to never heard of those things or don't know how, don't use it. You get so much information for that. It's free from Google. If you go on Google, you type Search Console, you set up your business in there. If you own a website, if you have a website domain, you can see actually how many people search for your business. You can see because the Search Console actually tracks your searches on Google, right?
Mhm.
Google
Right.
Analytics tracks all traffic that comes to your website, right? Okay. And, I was telling Jay, you know, 99% of people on the internet don't get more than like 15, 20 people on their website a month.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And, you know, you will probably sell to 1%, what am I talking about? 1%. You would probably sell to like 0.1% of your visitors, right? So if you have 20 people that come on your website on a monthly basis, okay, what's the odd that you're going to make a sale that month, right? 0.1%. It's like 0.00 something, right? Okay.
Right.
You will need a couple thousand people to visit your website on a consistent basis for those sales to start happening on a consistent basis. And don't get me wrong, you could have 20 people and somebody make a sale, somebody buy something, right? But that's I mean, it could happen, right? But that's not something that will happen consistently. You need
Right.
a lot more
That's
traffic.
that's that's the exception, and that's what people will talk about. Like, hey, I got a sale, and it's maybe like three in a year from just organic.
Right,
Right.
right.
Instead of what we could do, we'll have you ranking for a whole bunch of keywords,
And,
and
and, and the other thing,
go
go,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, it's just what my brother spot has done for the handyman and maid service website that I have with my business cronies. The visibility is off the hook. I could have a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And especially in the future, all my bills are getting paid. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about working for someone. You don't have to punch in. This is why I'm the brand ambassador because I believe it because it worked for me. Y'all, I'm telling you, I just don't be spitting on here just to be spitting at you. This is
But
actually my brother spot actually is help.
and the
Is
most
help.
important thing is the tools that you actually once you have a website. Let's say you are found,
Mhm.
but you know there are so many tools that allow you to keep a relationship, you know, with your
Mhm.
customers. because not only to have people come to your website. I've told Jay, we had a bunch of conversations about data and how important data is, right? Okay. On Afrobees, there are about 16,000 businesses on the, that have entered their business at some point on the website. So, we have data on all of those businesses, not just data like name, phone number. It's like very detailed data on what the business is doing, where they are in the process, and that kind of stuff.
Emails.
Okay, so 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 that really helps you to stay in business, because if you have a better understanding of who your customer is, what they're looking for, right? AI, there are systems that we can share with you guys, that help you to support that relationship, to make sure that you know that you remember people birthday, give you suggestions on what to do, for the different kind of clients that you have, and that kind of stuff, right? Even for your products, you're gonna have data when you sell products, right? So you have data, you gather data from this, right? Then you figure out, okay, who are the people buying from my websites, right? A lot of people have e-commerce website and they have no idea who are the people that actually want their stuff. They have no idea because they have no data about the people who are coming to the website, purchasing, and that kind of stuff, right? We
You
are
have to actually know if someone is even interested in body oils, if someone's interested in your life coaching. You want to market to those people, and that's, where you having your own website and getting that data, that makes it more effective for my brother Spot to help you with that, because they're going to read the data and they're going to go in their emails or whatever, and they're going to provide that person your with an advertisement.
well, also, if you actually have reliable data from your customer, it will help you to improve the customer experience, because now you kind of know what they're looking for, and also by improving the customer experience, uh, it helps you to increase loyalty. So people will be more loyal because they're going to be like, well, this person really know what I'm looking for. This person really know what I want, um, and and then also it free while you building your business and building relationship with customer, it actually frees up your time to
Hmm.
once you know how to use these AI systems.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and we've been talking about AI um, all night, and AI is basically um, the title and what we're talking about. And so, you know, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs just starting with AI, Willie?
well, first of all, it's a lot of people talk about AI right now, and but they don't have the foundation, right?
Mhm.
um and it's really good to to have someone walk you through how to go from point A to point B, right? Once you get in it, once you get
Mhm.
in the pool, even water is cold and you don't feel it anymore, right?
Mhm.
you know so all of a sudden, the water feels so much warmer, right? Just to get your feet wet, we can definitely help you with that, right? Okay.
Mhm.
And then we can definitely share the knowledge with you, because that's what we want to do, in especially in the black business community, um, because in the long term, this is better for our community if this knowledge is if everybody has this knowledge and they know, okay, I can start a business, I can do this. Because a lot of time we look at other businesses and people in our community as competition. We can actually put our efforts together, and you know and and move forward, as a unit, right? And this will be good for all the businesses, and essentially that's what we're doing with My Brother Spot. So, by the way, a lot of the products that we are offering on My Brother Spot, all the services, we're able to offer these services at these much lower prices because we're coming together, right? This is a platform for businesses across the United States. So we are able to share resources, you know, um, to come together. So, for example, for the store, people are going to be able to, add their products to the My Brother Spot platform. So that means we are sharing that server, that whole system. We're sharing that. So by sharing that, it makes the cost of everybody lower, because if you were to go and start your platform by yourself, I mean, you could, it will cost you a lot more money. You may not have all the knowledge and go in a direction. You may not have a team of people that are experiencing this that can put you in the right path. Yes, AI can help you with a lot of stuff, but you also have to know where to look, right? So this is the advice I can give to all entrepreneurs, but really specifically Black entrepreneurs, um, that want to get started. And the question was starting with AI, but really starting in business. Just because 2025 and beyond, AI is going to be a part of our lives. But you still need somebody to guide you. When you first get started, and this is what we're doing, my brother Spot, and we'll continue to do that, right?
There we go. There we go. And this finishes up our questions for AI. Talking about AI, y'all know I'm trying to improve my etiquette and hosting, but I do so many other things. But sometime in life, we have to be creative and be uncomfortable and not afraid to make mistakes. So we're gonna end this. We're gonna end this live. Um, thank you, Willie.
I just want to say one last thing,
Okay.
because we're ending, right? So, let's just remember one thing, right? So, especially for the business owners that are on here, AI is no longer an option, right? Okay,
Mm,
in
mm,
business, it's not an option. Okay, however, it's a game changer. It's how you see it. Okay, don't look at it as if everybody's going to lose their job. Everybody's going to do just the negative side of things. Okay, you really have to look at it that this is an opportunity, right? That never presented in itself before in this way. At this moment where we are in 2025, you can take your business from 0 to 100, with AI, with affordably. It won't cost you an arm and a leg. And on top of that, you have My Brother Spot, which is a platform that's there to support businesses and put them on the right track. So it's no longer an option, but it's a game changer. It's a
mhm,
game changer, and it can be really good for your business. So I want to end it on that note.
mhm. Okay. All right, family. Thank you, Willie, again. And I'm Jay Hadwin, brand ambassador of My Brother Spot. And Willie is a senior web developer, My Brother Spot. Um, if you get in touch with us at on Facebook, anywhere, if you're ready, just get you a website built on My Brother Spot, www.mybrotherspot.com. Get your customized website built, and well, our developers, our Willie will walk you through it. You don't have to create and do all kind of stuff like you do on Wix and all that and build your own. We build it. Get you on the phone, we build it. What is it, 48 hours, Willie, if it's one page?
Yeah, one page is pretty quick. I mean, depending, well, the first thing, like I was telling you, we go through that process where we find out what your business wants. And then from the moment we go to that discovery phase, I mean, it's pretty quick for us to put something together for you, especially for a startup website.
Right. And well, okay. We're about to be out. We're going to end this stream. We're going to end this live. And thank you for everyone coming by. And we appreciate you, especially to our clients, our future clients. Get with us. You won't be upset. We guarantee you. All right. All right, family. Peace.
All right. Thanks for your time. Goodbye.
All right. All right, Will.